Oh, right. Hello. Welcome to the Hold My Helmet Football Podcast. I'm your host, Will Reichling.
Yeah, I'm your co-host, Dylan Boy.
Welcome back, Dylan. How was your Thanksgiving?
Well, not bad, not bad.
Not bad either.
You know, it's the best time of year. You get to watch football, get to eat good food, Nothing better than that.
Dude, I was so full. I passed out. I almost passed out during Niners Seahawks, but I didn't.
You might as well have.
Well, they made it interesting for a little while, but eventually, Brock Purdy and the Niners pulled away. But we'll get into that game. I think first, the biggest game of the week, and so far, maybe the biggest game of the year, Bills-Eagles, went to overtime. For a while in that game, I'm like, the Bills are going to win this. The Bills are going to win this. Wow. And what happens? The Eagles do what they always do.
Yes,
they trail. They even struggle at times. And then eventually they get things going. Score, overtime score, the end. What can you say about this team, man? Jalen Hurts, 138.6 passer rating when trailing in the second half or overtime this season. I think he's also won 14 consecutive games against winning teams. Jalen Hurts has shown that he is a clutch quarterback. And he's an elite quarterback. I mean, it doesn't always look pretty on paper, the stat sheet, but he always gets it done. And that's what you want in your quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, you said it, you put it right on the head. They find ways to win games, and that's what they've been doing. This is a game that was very close. For a while, it did look like the Bills had control of the game, even coming down to the end. But, Jalen Hurts just did what he did, Even going to halftime, you were saying it before, even though the Bills got the ball, you just knew the Eagles were going to pull away with it.
Yeah, and they do it again. Their offense, they felt like they didn't play well at all. And then you look up 31 points. So, I mean, they scored 34. It wasn't the final 34-31. So, yeah, they scored 34 points. This team, man, I don't know. Now they got a tough matchup, the Niners, and this is going to be the real test for them. I mean, I already thought they were battle tested. Some people might say they aren't. Well, they weren't before the Dallas game. Now Dallas, Chiefs, Bills, they've beaten them all. And you kind of think to yourself, how did this team lose to the New York Jets?
Yeah.
How did they lose? How did they lose to the Jets, man? They're probably kicking themselves because they could be undefeated right now. And that would be such a weird undefeated team because they have not dominated really any game.
No, they haven't.
Let's think about that. Have they dominated any game this season? Every game's been kind of close. The Bucs, they won by 2 scores, I guess, but there wasn't really any domination this season. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there probably is one, but this team, they might have been more surprising last year, but they might be better this year because they just find ways to win these ugly, tough games in bad weather, and that's what you need in the playoffs. So the Niners are going to have, this is going to be a battle for both these teams, and we got robbed of that last season in the NFC Championship game. So I'm very excited to see what's coming. And for the Bills, can they make the playoffs now? They're 6-6. The AFC's kind of wide open because of the quarterbacks.
They're not in my playoff hunt anymore.
And they have a tough schedule coming up. They play the Chiefs. Eventually they play the Cowboys, the Dolphins. So they got a lot. They're going to have a lot of things to fit. They're going to have to basically almost win out or lose one more. I think 10-7 probably gets you in the playoffs. They're 6-6, so they only can afford one more loss. So it's going to be tough for them. It definitely is.
It's going to be very tough.
How are you going to go undefeated with this slate of games coming up? So it's going to be tough for sure.
It is.
All right, next I want to get into Ravens-Chargers. An interesting Sunday night game. Chargers offense kind of disappointed me a little bit here. 4 turnovers, but really mostly what I want to get into is Lamar he's an underrated passer. I think people don't give him credit for a passer because they're so in awe of his running abilities. He makes those sidearm throws, different arm angles. Kind of looks like Mahomes a little bit. He's a natural throw over the football, and I think people forget that sometimes.
Well, I think this season is where we kind of were questioning, is he really a good passer? Because we know he was a phenomenal runner. And he's been, we were talking about it before. There's been situations where he could, he had a clear path where he could have ran the ball, but he saw the open guy and he threw it. So that's been him this season, and he's been really proving that he's not just a running quarterback. And that's why he could easily be in the race for the MVP.
And that's where he's learning. That's where his game has grown over the years. Like you said, his first instinct used to be take off and run. And defenses started to see that, put a spy on him. Now he's knowing, okay, teams know I'm going to run, so what am I going to do? Throw it right over the top. And he's become really efficient. He controls the game. He always controls the game when whatever team they play, they seem to always control the tempo.
He's dangerous. He's a dangerous player.
He is dangerous. And now more on the negative side. How is Brandon Staley not fired yet for the Chargers? How is he still have a job?
We've been saying this every week after week.
Weeks. And it's just he still has a job. So at this point, if he hasn't gotten fired by now, I don't think he's getting fired this season. How's he not been fired by now?
It's pretty crazy. It's probably they just don't want to fire him mid-season,
That's probably it.
Yeah.
And, the Spanos, the owners of the Chargers, tend to be a little on the cheaper side. I don't want to call them cheap. I'm broke. So I don't want to call a rich owner cheap. But, I just think they're a little old school. They haven't really gotten up with the times. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and maybe they want to let coach go early on his contract and bring in another. They probably don't want to blow that money. It's probably a waste of money to them. And I get it, but
everyone's not the Raiders either.
Yeah,
things just don't gel with the new owner.
Exactly. So I think Kellen Moore deserves a little bit of criticism as well. We're always quick to praise him when he scores, 38 against the Lions, but we're not ready to criticize him when he scores 20 against the Packers, 10 against the Ravens. Both good defenses, don't get me wrong, but he, 2 3rd-and-1s passed both times. It's like he gets too cute in simple situations, and Dallas fans probably know about this. They loved Kellen Moore, don't get me wrong, but they knew that, and times where you just had to keep it simple, run the ball. He gets a little too cute. I remember, I said this. Oh, by the way, we went on Wild Card Sports earlier. Check that out, Wild Card Sports. But there's a 4th down early in the season. They went for it, obviously, Brandon Staley, and they had Joshua Kelly, backup running back, line up as a fullback in the fullback position, 3-point stance, and take a fullback dive up the middle. Wouldn't you want to give it to in a critical situation like that, wouldn't you want to give it to, Keenan Eckler, Keenan Allen? No, let's put a backup running back at fullback and run up the middle. It's like, sometimes you don't gotta overthink things. Sometimes I feel like Kellen Moore is sometimes too smart for his own good. But I do think he should be the next head coach. I do think that he's a good offensive coordinator. I just think sometimes he needs to dial it back a little bit. Stop trying to outthink the room, outsmart the room. I did like the 3rd and 17 where he flipped it back, the double pass where they threw it back and they got the first. I like that. The creativity, that's all good, but you don't need to get too creative on simple 3rd and 1, 4th and 1s when you're getting the push up front. So.
Easily, you got some good coaching in here, and they could easily be the best team in the league.
They could be one of the best. Yeah, every year we think they're going to make a legit Super Bowl run, legit playoff run. And what do they do every year, Dylan?
Throw it right down the garbage,
Right down the garbage. And, it just shows where both these teams are going. And shows where both these quarterbacks are going. Lamar Jackson, 70% of his games he wins. Justin Herbert, 48%. And at one point I had Justin Herbert above Lamar Jackson in my top 10 quarterbacks. I had Herbert at 4 and Lamar at 7. He got hurt the last couple of years. I started to become a little down on him. Boy, did I make a mistake. Lamar Jackson wins games, and he's the better quarterback. I don't know where it's going to be a few years from now, but right now, he's the better quarterback.
Well, listen, I'll rebuttal that with just this. Look at the Broncos. They get a different coach in there, get Sean Payton in there. And, last season we were saying, Russell Wilson's washed. He's done for. Now this season we're like, oh, this is the old Russ. He's cooking. It's all about the coaching staff, what plays they run. The quarterback's not calling plays, period. They're not.
Yeah, he's not Rodgers back there.
He's not.
Yeah.
No. So I wouldn't really put that all on Justin Herbert. He's a great quarterback, and he's right up there with Lamar.
He's up there. Yeah, I agree.
Those stats really don't mean anything to me, to be honest.
Look, I used to be exactly on your wave. I don't think I think 80% of this is not his fault. But eventually, now it's starting to get to the point where I'm starting to get a little impatient. It's like, hey, dude, come on, you gotta win some games now. So it's they're 4-7, and the AFC's wide open, and they're gonna miss the playoffs. Burrow's out for the season. Deshaun Watson out for the season, even though he wasn't playing great. Who else? Anthony Richardson, and the Colts are in it right now. So imagine they had Richardson. I don't know. It's. Right now, the playoff spots, you got Steelers, Browns, Colts, I think. Do you trust any of those quarterbacks? I probably trust Minshew the most out of those three.
You're not winning games without a quarterback, period. So all those teams that you said, unless you have a good veteran or a decent quarterback back there, they're not making any sort of run. They'll win maybe one game, but
So let me ask you something.
You need a legit quarterback.
Let me ask you something. They play the Broncos twice, same division. They're both fighting for a wild card. Who else did the Chargers play? I think they played the Lions once. They have Houston, so they have some tough games. Can the Chargers make the playoffs at 4-7?
They can, but I don't think I don't think they could win more than one game in the playoffs.
No,
or one game in general.
Yeah, I don't even think they're gonna make the playoffs now. They're 4-7. I think they're done, man. Especially, I think you need to get to at least 10-7 in the AFC. They have to win out, in my opinion, and they're not going to win out. They got tough games: Houston, Detroit.
Houston in that one too.
Yeah, then you got 2 Bronco games. They're going to split. They're not going to sweep the Broncos. The Broncos are a well-coached team now. Not looking good for the Chargers again.
No.
Say goodbye, Brandon Staley, because you're going to be out of a job very soon. It's probably just going to be the end of the year. It's a matter of when.
Yeah, it's going to be flipping burgers at Burger King.
Like Evan Neal would say. Okay, so Jaguars, Texans. This was also big AFC South game. This could have decided the division if the Texans won, because the Texans, they would have been tied, and the Texans would have had the tiebreaker, winning both games over Jacksonville. But Jacksonville's defense had to step up in critical moments, and they did. On the last drive, C.J. Stroud was trying to drive, trying to come back again late and close in the final 2 minutes, and he couldn't. Why? Jacksonville, 2 huge sacks in that last drive. So the Jaguars, this defense is still a little underrated. We don't talk about it a lot. The secondary's been playing out of its mind this season, and Saxonville, they get some. Josh Allen's had a great season on that on that front seven. So Jacksonville's defense has been a little underrated. And Trevor Lawrence, almost 400 passing yards. Mm-hmm. I know people like to say, he had some throws that were a little shaky. He made some really good throws in this game, and sure. Trevor Lawrence showed why. Some people say, Stroud played better. I don't know. I can't really say that because Trevor Lawrence was the one who found the way to win. He continues to do that. It doesn't always look great for him, but he's finding a way to get his team's wins. So, Trevor Lawrence is obviously a top 10 quarterback. C.J. Stroud's going to be entering that soon. This could be a battle for years to come, Dylan.
Yeah, no, for sure. This is going to be a good divisional game moving forward. So I think you were saying it before, the defense is very underrated. And that's very much true just because the offense hasn't been really playing that well. They've kept their defense has kept them in every single game, and Jaguars have seemed to find some way to pull out. But I feel like now they're starting to get to a point where they're gelling a lot more, they're getting a lot better, and they're kind of, I don't know, I feel like their offense started off really slow, and it's just now starting to get going.
And it's still taking a little while. It doesn't look beautiful. No, I agree with that. But
Zay Jones just came back too.
Yes,
so
yes, they needed that. They needed him. And
Travis Etienne, he can only do so much.
He got going late, though, but he for most of this game, he kind of struggled. Look, the Texans' defense is a little underrated. They got a smart, young defensive head coach. Will Anderson was a high draft pick. He's starting to come on. Derek Stingley was a high draft pick at corner. They have some players.
Yeah.
It's just whether they can put the pieces together, and I think they're a year away from making a real run. I think they'll be a wild card team this year. But, they're not. Can they make some noise? Maybe with this AFC being wide open. But I can't see them, beating Baltimore in the playoffs or even Kansas City right now. Just because Kansas City has that experience. They're a young team.
Dude, I could absolutely see this team beating Baltimore or beating a good team. They are that type of team.
That's your bold take.
I really think they can.
So how far can they go in the playoffs?
Well, this would be their first legit year.
Yeah.
I think they could win 2 games and maybe make it to the AFC Championship.
Well, they win 2. They're in the AFC Championship.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Well, that's pretty far for a team in its first year. And if that's the case, they should be Super Bowl contenders next year. But I do think they're a playoff team. I don't think they're ready to win a playoff game yet. They'll probably, what are they sitting, 6 or 7 seed right now? Oh, no, I think right now they're out. They're technically out of the wild card hunt. They're in the race. They're the first team at the top of in the hunt, but they're not in the 3 wild card spots right now. But if they finish,
they're going to beat the Colts out.
I think they'll be a playoff team. So 6 or 7 seed, they'll probably end up playing probably Kansas City or Jacksonville. Or what team is it? Oh, Miami too. They would probably end up with Miami, Jacksonville, or Kansas City.
Steelers.
Steelers. That's the thing because Baltimore's probably going to win the division, so Steelers are probably going to be a wild card team. So they won't face each other until at least the second round.
Oh, okay.
Unless somehow Pittsburgh beats out Baltimore for this division, it's not over yet. Somehow they keep winning. I don't understand it, but
we talk about this every week.
Yeah.
Apparently their defense can make it worse.
Yeah. So we will definitely get into the Steelers Browns, but first I want to get into this is the first Thanksgiving game I want to talk about. It's the Sunday night because it was broadcasted by NBC and Sunday Night Football, but it was Thursday Night Football technically, and it was the 49ers at the Seahawks. And the Seahawks did make this interesting for a little while. They kind of came back in the beginning of the second half, but look at that throw Brock Purdy made to Brandon Ayuk and towards the end of the game to close it out. Rolling left, comes back, throws it towards the middle, threads the needle. He throws. I think Brock Purdy's leading the league in yards per attempt. So what does that tell you? That tells you he throws the ball down the field. He doesn't dink and dunk. So he is the highest passer rating in the league. So those 2 numbers, you're throwing it down the field and you're efficient. That's a good quarterback.
Well, you got to realize you have to have trust in your receivers. When you look around and you see all the receivers that you have around you, yeah, you're gonna have some thought that's someone's gonna catch you down there, and they're kind of setting him up.
That's the thing though. Garoppolo, kind of kept us short over the middle a little bit. This guy's making big time plays down the field. It's
that's what they needed. They needed someone like that.
They need this, and I think the next step for them, they need to make the Super Bowl. That matchup, I talked about this earlier, the matchup between the Eagles and the Niners, we were waiting for that matchup all season, and then it was a bummer when Purdy got hurt. So we hope to see it. We probably are going to see that again. Niners-Eagles in the AFC Championship game, and they are playing next week, so we will get into our predictions at the end of the episode, so stay tuned for that. As far as Seattle, haven't they lost 2 or 3 straight now? They're starting to really struggle here. And then they're playing the Cowboys on Thursday night. So they're, I don't know.
Listen, we were talking about this before. I don't think Geno is the guy,
Is he a guy? Is he good enough to get them to the playoffs? Like, I can't believe we're even asking
I don't
this.
know.
They were 5-2 at one point.
Their roster's kind of stacked. They have everything you want to see.
Yes.
They got, some good wide receiver cores.
Running backs.
You got running backs through the wazoo.
Tight end.
Tight ends. So what is it with them at this point? They have a decent defense.
Quarterback.
Yeah.
It's quarterback.
It's unfortunate.
The line's been a little hurt this year, too, but it's quarterback. They have some nice pieces on the line.
Maybe Geno could thrive in, like, a 49er situation where they have, like, superstars everywhere.
Well, that's why he succeeded last year, because they had, stars everywhere, but now players are getting hurt. Geno's being asked to do more, and he can't. And this team struggles on third down a lot. And, against the worst, like, they're similar to the Lions, like, as where, like, the worst teams they should kind of beat up on, but these good teams, they get outclassed because they're not good enough. And it's really the quarterback. And who would you take? This is kind of, I guess this could go either way. Would you take Brock Purdy? Would you take Geno?
I'll take Brock Purdy.
I would take Brock Purdy. He's younger. Geno's athletic and can move, but I would say Purdy being younger, a little more athletic. And Geno, I mean, they both are good with the deep ball, but Purdy's more clutch. And Purdy, when he's asked to do stuff, like when Purdy's asked to put a little bit of a load on his back, not much, not often, but he does it. And Geno, I don't know. Is this his last season? Do the Seattle Seahawks take a quarterback? They're not going to be drafting high enough, but there's a lot of quarterbacks coming out of this draft.
It's weird. Every time we say, the Seahawks won the trade. Geno's going off. Russell Wilson sucks, and then it just switches. Like, wait, no, Russell Wilson is still good, and Geno's really not that good.
It's actually funny how it's working. Initially, Seattle still, I think, has won the trade. The draft picks they got, the talent they've gotten on the roster, but it's not looking that bad for the Broncos anymore. Everyone was saying they were trapped at Russ. Maybe that's not such a bad thing. He's got 20 touchdown passes now.
He's still a very young quarterback.
And tell you what, he made another magical touchdown throw where he rolled right and hit, I forgot who it was. Was it Mims on the sideline for the touchdown?
Oh, no, that's a tight end.
Yeah, but it was another improbable play where they just got it.
Yeah, they came back from commercials like, wait, it's a touchdown.
Yeah. So
I remember that one.
Anyways, it's looking more like Seattle Russ and Geno. I mean, maybe they give him one more year.
He'd be a great backup. I'll tell you that.
He's a top backup.
Yeah, for sure.
And he's really, he's gained respect from people. He's shown that he could be a good starter at times. He threw 30 touchdown passes last year. That can't be ignored. Clearly, he has it in him. But everything needs to go perfectly around him to work. And he's good when that happens. When he's not, he's going to struggle at times, like he's been. That's what he is. So I don't think it's really a debate. But Niners are going to run away with this division. So, not run away, but they're running away currently. And, like I said a couple weeks ago, where was it last week? When the Rams beat the Seahawks. The Rams beat them twice this year. The Rams are 5-6. I think Seattle's 6-6, or are they 6-5? Regardless, it's close. They're fighting for a wild card spot. It's possible that the Rams could knock out Seattle having that tiebreaker now. And people thought it was crazy a few weeks ago when the Rams seemed like out of it at 3-6, and Seattle was one of the better teams in the NFC.
It's weird how things just flip.
Weird how things change, my friend. But moving on to another Thanksgiving game, Packers-Lions, and I think we all thought the Lions were going to control the game. Lions blew them out the first time they played, and boy, did they surprise us. And Jordan Love looks good.
He is.
You're starting to look smart.
It's weird, maybe in prime time he just goes off. I don't know how many prime time. I don't think they have any prime time games this year.
I'm not sure. Do they have a Thursday night? Well, that was a Thursday game. I'm not sure. That's a good question. Maybe they had a Monday night at one point, but
I wouldn't brag on I wouldn't, I still need to give Jordan Love more time. We were kind of, jumping the gun a little quick, saying he's not the guy, but he looks really good in this game, going up against a really good, the number one defense, and, to do what he did. Pretty good.
The thing is, the front seven of the Lions is very great, and I thought the secondary improved, but the last couple of weeks they've gotten completely gashed. And I think for Niner fans, and I've heard this from a lot of Niner fans and nationally around the league, the Niners defense is starting to become a concern for fans, and I could see why. I mean, the Packers, they're starting to get a little healthy, but they were still missing Aaron Jones. It's not like they have like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, and they kind of torched the Lions defense. So I don't know. I think a big thing in this game is that the great offensive line that the Lions have, it struggled in this game. And Goff was under duress the entire game, and he struggled because of it. And, Dan Campbell likes to be very aggressive, go for it and stuff. And usually he pays off. He's usually very smart with that. Backfired today. Well, not today. I always do that. It was almost over a week ago. It backfired on Thanksgiving, on Thursday. He did the fake punt, got stopped. He went for it on 4th and 7 early in the fourth quarter when it wasn't necessary to do that, and it backfired. He didn't get it, and sometimes when you're aggressive like that, it backfires, and sometimes you look like a genius. In this game, it backfired. But sorry, go on.
No, you're good. The only reason why I respect Dan Campbell so much is like literally somebody asked him at press conference, like, "What are you doing with that fake punt?" He's like, "Listen, that's on me. That's not on any of the guys.
Accountability.
That's on me." Yes, he
like
is.
it.
I like it too. You took a bad L. Like we said, it's a divisional game. I wouldn't jump too much on it.
Me either.
The Lions are still a very good team.
They
still in my the top five teams right now.
It's funny because you with the Lions has been so up and down.
I know,
Top 5 team, not top 10 team. Oh, top 5 team. Oh, top 3 team. Top
They're
7
that type of team, man.
I know.
Like, they're gonna convert back to the old Lions.
Because it's weird. They dominate like bad teams, and they control the game the entire time. Run the ball. Ravens, they lost to Seattle. Got blown out by the Ravens. Lost to the Green Bay. So look, the Lions are fine. Last week I did say I'd take the Lions over the Dallas Cowboys. I still think I would, but I don't know. It's getting close now because Dallas, Dallas beats the teams they have to beat, and usually Detroit does too.
Yeah.
But like you said, they haven't won a Thanksgiving game since 1970. No, I'm just kidding. They haven't won a Thanksgiving game since 2016. Dylan, for some reason, thought it was 1970. It feels like since it was 1970, though. I won't lie, because Detroit hasn't been that great for a long time. So I get where you're coming from. And it does feel like we're always watching the Lions on Thanksgiving lose. And this year, they had a good team. We thought they'd actually win. And what happens? They lose again. So I heard some people calling for to take the Lions off Thanksgiving because they're sick of watching it. But they've actually had a good season this year. So it was like a little bit of a treat.
Except it wasn't.
Yeah, exactly. But good for Jordan Love. He's made some really good throws. He's been very accurate. He's showing growth in this offense. And I will say this, Kenny Pickett, Mac Jones, Jordan Love. Jordan Love has talent. He has good arm, mobility. There's things that you like. So when there's things that you like, you try to build around it. So I would give this kid another year, especially the way he's been playing.
After this week, I have a top 5 terrible, worst quarterbacks, and he's out of it now.
I agree.
He's taken out of that top 5.
Who would be in it?
So I got Mac Jones.
Okay.
I have who else do I have?
I'll help you out here. Kenny Pickett's definitely in it.
Kenny Pickett, yeah.
Does Zach Wilson count?
Zach Wilson counts. Yeah, he's a starter.
Obviously Tommy DeVito doesn't count.
No, he doesn't count.
This is tough.
This is tough.
Wait, let me think. I'm gonna go through.
You got to go through the divisions.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it in my head really quick. I mean, I'm not gonna count Jake Browning or anything like that, or PJ Walker or DTR. Exactly. Bryce Young.
Bryce,
even though a lot of it's not his fault and he's young,
but you still haven't developed.
Exactly. So Bryce Young's on there, and who would be the 5th? I guess Jordan Love would have been on there.
Yeah.
Let me think of this really quick. Chargers. We got the NFC with some weird quarterbacks here and there. Desmond Ridder, he's been up and down. I don't know if he's up there for one of the worst. Maybe top 10
or Jimmy.
Jimmy G's been really bad. He got benched. He's done now. I don't consider him a starter.
Yeah, he was a starter.
Yeah, he was.
Jimmy's there too.
So. Yeah, pretty much. Jordan Love was on that list a few weeks ago. He really has improved, and there's been development. So Matt LaFleur, he gets a lot of criticism, but he should get credit here. He's kind of developed Jordan Love into a pretty decent quarterback. So Matt LaFleur and the offensive coaching staff should get a lot of credit for this. Yeah. Moving on, Steelers at Bengals.
The first game without Matt Canada.
And 400 yards. The first time in 58 games.
That says a lot.
They haven't gone a 400-yard game in 58 games. The first game without Matt Canada, they get 400 yards.
Yes. I mean, this wasn't really a convincing win either.
No.
Not at all. Kenny Pickett still kind of looked iffy.
He did.
But at the same time, the Bengals stayed in this for a lot longer than I thought they would. I thought after that injury, this team would be deflated. They would just kind of lose out.
DTR made some decent throws in this game until he got hurt.
But then he got hurt, and then Walker came in.
Walker actually made some okay throws too, but he critical fumble. Oh, there was another fumble when they did an end around reverse and they fucked. Dude, they were just throwing the ball. They were just throwing the ball on the floor.
Yeah, they were just getting too cute.
There was no point for that. Yeah, it's just run the ball, be simple.
They had the game in their hands,
and their running backs were pretty effective. So why be stupid? I don't understand it. But anyway, think about this: Kenny Pickett, a season high in passing yards and passer rating, with his first game out of Matt Canada. Still don't think he's any good. But they definitely looked a bit energized on offense. They did have a huge touchdown drop, so they would have had more. They only scored 16, but they did have a huge touchdown drop.
Well, there's something going on when a game later, they kind of look like a whole different team, just like the Raiders.
Yes. And I still think Kenny Pickett's bad, but I think Matt Canada. I'm now realizing that he probably was
cancer.
And I'm realizing Matt Canada probably was 50% of the problem. Maybe with a better OC, he'll look a little better. And they kind of have a little bit of a crapshoot going on around there. Like they have the quarterback's coach calling the plays, but they have some other guy as the offensive coordinator. It's like a team effort. So,
I mean, this isn't a team I really do think it's the coaching more so. They just haven't looked good at all. But I can't pinpoint what they didn't look good in. It's just
because they've been better running the ball, but I think it's points. They just didn't score enough points this week. They moved the ball well this game. Mm-hmm. They just didn't score enough points. But there was a touchdown drop, so maybe it gets better. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. I still don't think Kenny Pickett's any good. Najee was kind of running with a little bit of a fire. He had a nice touchdown.
He was fighting for his position.
Because Warren's looking really good, but Najee's looking good too. And I watched that throwback.
It's always good having that nice duo. We talk about it a lot.
I watched that throwback video. What were they in Mexico? And he was like El Mundo. And I'm not even gonna say the other part. Yeah, El Chapo. That's not.
Feliz Navidad.
And everyone in the comments this guy's really calling out El Chapo.
That was mad funny.
He's a funny guy. I didn't realize how funny he was, but he was very serious in this game. So big touchdown for him, and it's good to see him bounce back. He was first round pick. He's very high out of college. People were very high on him, so it was nice to see him get something going here. But it's kind of funny how the running back drafted in the later round. He might have even been undrafted. Warren always ends up better than the first round running back.
Yeah.
Pacheco, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Edwards-Helaire was a first round pick. Pacheco was a 7th round pick. Pacheco's now the starter over Edwards-Helaire. It keeps happening. I feel like so. Not always, but it's been happening a lot. Pollard and Zeke. Yeah. That's been happening. Anyway, moving on. Saints Falcons. The reason I want to talk about this, we'll keep it quick though. This kind of could decide the NFC South. Big win for the Falcons, and Desmond Ridder again almost blew the game for them. 2 stupid picks, but he made a big touchdown throw when he had to. And the Falcons secondary, this defense is underrated, but the secondary absolutely underrated. AJ Terrell at the corners had a great year. Jesse Bates, who they got, I think is from the Bengals, he's been great. He had a pick 6 and a forced fumble punching the ball out in this game, so huge game for Jesse Bates. And Derek Carr made some nice plays down the field, but then he makes big mistakes too here and there. And when it comes down to it, the Saints just aren't scoring enough, and the Falcons, it's close because they both are talented. But I think the Saints should be more talented than the Falcons. So how do the Saints keep losing games they should win? Do you have an answer? Because
I don't know.
How do you feel about Derek Carr? Because I don't know anymore.
Listen, he's been getting better since the beginning of the season.
Yes,
but now he's just starting to regress again. I don't know. He's just not clicking with this offense.
It seemed like they started this game off strong, and then he just died out. They made some nice throws in this game, but then all of a sudden it was just what? It seemed like I was always watching the Falcons on offense at the end of the game. That's just how it felt. So,
and I'm always, it's bad when you always see Jameis Winston talking to him.
It's like
Jameis Winston was rapping to him when his name was coming down. I was like, yo,
and
Corey's just not having a good
when
time.
When you're taking advice from a guy who threw 30 picks in the season, that's when you're having a bad season. So I actually thought the Saints were going to win this division. They're both 5-6. The Falcons have the lead right now in the division. Can the Falcons win the division? It's definitely possible. I might even have to go with Falcons now over the Saints because I don't trust either team. But
who's their quarterback?
I don't know. I don't know.
I really don't know.
Heineke got hurt, but Ridder made some plays when he had to. So they're going to go back to Ridder. I don't even know.
I feel like Heineke looks better with this.
He does. I agree, but this roster is ready to win if they have a quarterback, man. You put Justin Fields, I've heard that name thrown out there to Atlanta because the Bears are going to have the number 1 overall pick. We'll get into that game. But,
what are you doing with that? You're definitely getting with that. They're what the Panthers are 1-9, 1-10 now?
Something like that, 1-10. And another great fit. I think Daniel Jones would be a great fit in the Falcons. A running team, but I think Daniel Jones is going to be on the Giants next year.
Him,
yeah. So we'll move on.
Nobody's taking that contract.
No. But it's 1 more year guaranteed, and then they'll be out of it. But anyway, Commanders at Cowboys, the last Thanksgiving game. I'll keep it short. Dallas kind of blew them out. Dallas blows out teams that are inferior to them. And 10 points for the Commanders. It's Ron Rivera is probably gone as head coach after the season. They're going to bring in an offensive guy. Yeah. He's kind of overstated. I think he only has 1 winning season. The year the Panthers went to the Super Bowl with Cam. Other than that, I think he made the playoffs twice with an under 500 record. Yeah. Once on the Panthers and once on the Commanders. So, is he really? I always thought he was a good coach, but is he really that good of a coach? I don't know. He's probably out. The new ownership, they're probably going to bring in their own guy. It's really how it goes.
The one thing I took from this is that pick six from Deron Bland.
Oh my God, Deron Bland.
That's 6 intercept pick six.
Five pick sixes, NFL record.
Yes,
NFL record.
That's insane.
He has the same amount of, what was the stat? He's getting up there with touchdowns, but I think he has more touchdowns than Garrett Wilson.
Most good receivers out there. He has more touchdowns than. That's phenomenal. And when we saw it happen, it was just like, oh my God, is he gonna do it?
Yeah, I was sitting at the dinner table.
He was running with passion, man.
It's funny. I was sitting at the dinner table with my family. The small TV was on. I was trying to watch it and socialize at the same time. And he gets to pick. I'm like, oh my God, is that Bland? He's gonna go. Wait, he's gonna go. Oh, he's gonna go. And everyone was like looking at that guy psychotic.
Everyone wanted to. Yeah. I wanted it to happen.
Yeah. Even this guy at work that's like not even a big football fan was like, oh, you see that guy Bland with his 5th pick six? I'm like, oh wow, you knew about that? I was like, that's how big it is. And Trayvon Diggs being out for the year, we thought this defense, this secondary, the corners, we thought it was going to be a huge blow. They still got Stephon Gilmore, and now this guy Deron Bland has really come on.
Yeah,
Can he win? I don't think this is possible because can he win Defensive Player of the Year? There's so many other good candidates. I think Myles Garrett's
broke a record.
I know, but I think Myles Garrett's having a crazy year.
He's definitely up there.
Yeah,
he's definitely going to be up there, like the
top five.
Top five, I would definitely put
top
him
five.
Up there.
I agree. Who else would be up there? Bose is having an off year. Micah Parsons. I think Myles Garrett's the one.
TJ Watt hasn't really been.
He's had some. TJ Watt's probably up there too.
Somewhere up there.
I think he hurt for a few games. I don't know. I feel like TJ Watt's always hurt at times. But anyway, Myles Garrett's having a crazy year. Probably right now would be Myles Garrett. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I mean, Brandon Cooks has started to slowly. I remember the first couple of weeks he was like not a non-factor. He started to slowly come on. A nice touchdown catch in this game. Look, Dak's been rolling. I think he's an MVP. I think he's a top right now. I think with the odds, he's the top 3 for MVP candidate right now. But like, I can't take Dak seriously because I know how it always ends. I know how it always ends. Like in the playoffs.
So I was looking it up before because I was really curious. Out of the 11 games they played, 7 of them they won by over 28 points. They blow out teams. I wouldn't say blow out teams, but they score.
They blow out teams. Yeah, but then they get outclassed by the Niners and get destroyed. So I don't really know where they land right now. We gotta look.
They score points. Is all I'm saying.
They do. That's a top offense for sure, and we're gonna have to see. Where it's really going to come down to what to do in the playoffs. Bears at Vikings. Now we'll do rapid fire now. Bears, Vikings, and Josh Dobbs. Now they've lost 2 in a row. The Vikings. Oh my God, 4 picks, but there was a lot of tipped balls in that game. It's not like he was just throwing interceptions. Like I think 3 of them were tipped. So it's like
I don't. My perspective on Josh Dobbs doesn't change at all from this game. But this is a game I was literally falling asleep. It felt like a Thursday night game.
I'm not gonna lie. I fell asleep a little bit at the end.
There wasn't much to take from it.
Low scoring, very rough. But so Josh Dobbs threw 4 picks, but 3 of them were like deflected. So it was like very weird. I don't know. I wasn't sold. I think Justin Fields was decent in this game, but how do you only score 10 points when you have 4 interceptions? So it's like half of his completions were either at or behind the line of scrimmage. I don't know if I'm necessarily sold. Like I think I'm sold as he could be effective somewhere, but I think the Bears stand's coming to an end. I think the Bears are going to draft a quarterback. They're going to have the number 1 overall pick. How do you pass up on?
I think it's the offensive coordinators, just the plays that they're running. It just doesn't.
No, I partially agree. Like there was a 3rd down. It's like another screen. It's like
it just becomes way too predictable.
Is that just because they see him in practice and they don't feel like he can make the throws down the field? I mean, he has DJ Moore. You just have to throw it up to the guy. I mean, I
don't know. They're definitely getting the number 1 pick because
I'm
pretty sure they're separating themselves. Who else? Okay, so they're right there with Patriots because Patriots are 2 and 8.
Cardinals are up there. Are up there. They're like 2 and 9. I think the Cardinals.
Did they only win 2 games?
Yeah, they've only won 2 games. They won 1 with Dobbs and 1 with Kyler.
But out of all those teams, I could only see Panthers not winning really any more games.
And then they just fire their head coach. We'll get into that.
They're losing in fashion, man.
Yeah. It's like, and they fire their head coach. We'll get into that, Frank Reich. But we'll move on from that. I just don't know if you're going to keep Justin Fields, trade that number 1 overall pick. There's a ton of players and picks because you also have another top 5 pick, well, top 10 at least right now with their own pick.
Yes.
So we'll see how that works. The Vikings, I still think they're going to be in the playoffs. They've struggled these last couple of games.
A little concerning of a game, but
you gotta get Justin Jefferson back.
They need to come back to earth after all those wins.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's see.
And Justin Jefferson will come back soon, which will be huge for them. So Dolphins, Jets, and let's just say that what are we gonna call it? The Hail Mary, the Fail Mary, the
oh my God.
What else? What else is out there?
Did they set a record for that too?
Oh, like a name? They were trying to make the Hail Mary stick like right after it happened. It's like a little soon there, buddy. Let's not have a name for this yet. And there's a debate going on. It's the Hail Mary worse than the Buff Fumble. I don't even think it's close. I think the Buff Fumble was way worse because how embarrassing it was.
I still remember it
The pick six to me was actually a little impressive by the Dolphins, but the Buff Fumble was like you just completely ruined your own play. So
once they passed the 50, I'm like, oh my God, are they gonna
all
the way back?
And it's like once you get past like 10 yards,
you just need to stop them. Even at the 1 yard line, you haul.
Yeah, I saw Garrett Wilson haul on his rear end, but it's funny because once you get past 10 yards, all the receivers and everything are in the end zone. So now you just have linemen and your guy Boyle to beat. So and what happened? He just fell to the ground. So
oh my God,
that's the Boyle way, isn't it?
is.
I'm messing with you, but anyway, no, look, embarrassing, man. And at this point, do you just go back to Zach because Tim Boyle was, if anything, he was worse. I mean,
you think so?
I was at the point where I didn't want to see Zach again. It's like anyone but him. But if it's gonna be that bad, at least Zach has talent. At least he has some kind of an arm. At least he's mobile. Like I don't. You might as well just go back to him at this point.
Yeah, but you guys got that guy's
Simeon.
Simeon.
Where is he? I mean, he must be really bad.
He's like, I don't want to play for this.
Sometimes I feel like coaches and the teams, the organizations, see things in practice that we don't. And it's like clearly they're seeing something in practice that we don't. He must suck now. Because if he hasn't gotten in at this point with his resume, his amount of wins, touchdowns, and if he hasn't even gotten a chance to play yet, either they're just trying to show that okay, Simeon's a lot better than Zach. We don't want to show how stupid we've been for not playing this guy, or he's just really bad and not mobile.
Well, the other way with it, Tim Boyle's record just doesn't look good at all on paper.
No, college. How is this guy in the league? How did he make the league? Just Rodgers.
They picked him up. The Green Bay Packers picked him up. I guess they took a flyer.
And Rodgers befriended him, and he was good with the system, and he's a smart guy, and he was a third string quarterback. And as a third string quarterback, he's fine, I guess. But as a backup, I don't know. They should have always gotten the backup. That was the mistake for the Jet from the start. And there's really no one else to talk about here. Miami dominated this game.
Yeah. So, but in a press conference, they said, like, Tim Boyle's the starter, Simeon's the second, and Zach is the third. So, I think next up is Simeon.
Well, you have an extended week now, so I think they want to give him one more chance with more time because this was a short week. It's hard to prepare on a short week, but let's move on. This game was embarrassing. Yeah. Bucks Colts. This actually was an interesting game.
It was. Mike Evans, man.
Yes.
Still a phenomenal receiver.
It's crazy. I want the Jets to get him. I want the Jets to get Devontae Adams or Mike Evans in the offseason. And Mike Evans has still been a great player. And is he on pace for another 1,000-yard season? I think he's had 10 straight at this point.
Dude, how old is he too? He's in
his 30s at this point.
He's still getting it up.
Yes, he is. And the Colts are 6-5. Can they make the playoffs?
They can, but I was talking about this before. You can't win games without a quarterback.
I know.
Minshew is a quarterback.
He's decent, but he's decent at best.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. With Anthony Richardson, this team would be exciting.
I feel like at this point he'd really be coming on too. At this point in the season,
exactly.
But I think the big thing about the Colts is they know what they are. Shane Steichen's a smart offensive head coach. They run the ball with their two-headed monster, Zach Moss and Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor's really starting to come on.
He is two touchdowns.
Pittman, I like Josh Downs a lot. That rookie's been a stud, number one.
He had one drop that I didn't like, but it happened.
He's been coming on this season. I can't believe they cut Shaq Leonard though on defense, but their defense has still been really good.
Real quick, who do you think's the best rookie wide receiver? So we have Puka Nacua, we have
Jordan Addison,
Tank Dell,
Zay Flowers.
Oh my God!
I have, even though Puka's had a monster year, I gotta go Zay. I gotta go Zay Flowers.
Zay and then Puka.
Yes, Zay, Puka. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, Zay's Puka, Jordan Addison, Tank.
No, I give Tank over Jordan Addison.
I think Tank's a little bit more. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I think Stroud's been making Tank Dell look a little better than he is. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Tank's a stud. But I feel like Jordan Addison could be a legitimate number one receiver. But now he has Justin Jefferson coming back. I feel like he'll be even better. But anyway, moving on from this, the Bucks have been in a lot of close games and have lost a lot of close games. They're falling out of it. They're 4-7 now, I think. They're falling out of it.
I mean, Baker's made a lot of good throws, but I don't know if they're their franchise quarterback.
Obviously, he's not the franchise guy, but he has been decent this season. I think he showed that he could last around the league for a while as a spot starter. So, moving on. Patriots, Giants. I can't believe you picked the Patriots.
Oh, my God.
I can't believe I picked the Giants, and the Giants somehow won. And
yes.
Patriots missed a field goal at the end. I haven't heard people asking this. Do you think Belichick told him to miss it on purpose?
Oof, that's the first time I'm hearing this.
I know. That's immediately what I thought when I saw it.
That's interesting. If that is the case, I mean, I'm pretty sure you can get fined for that. And
yes, but how would they prove that? Unless the kicker came out and like whistle blew or something. It was a whistleblower. I don't think so because
it wasn't like a wide left, a wide.
And you know how Belichick is. I feel like he wants to win every game, so it's probably nothing. But I don't know the way he missed it. It was like a 30-something yard field goal, not a field goal to be missing.
So you're saying what the Patriots are going to draft another quarterback?
They should. I hope so. How many times is the guy going to get benched before you say the guy's not good? I mean, it's not his fault. I don't think a lot of this isn't his fault, but at some point you're limited. He's limited.
I don't know how many times they're gonna put Zach Wilson.
Zach Mack, all the same thing. They all suck.
They put in Mac Jones for Haas, and then they put in Bailey Zappi.
Bailey Zappi, let's go.
It's like as soon as he started looking bad, get out. Bailey, you're in.
They just have.
It's just like such a weird dynamic.
It really is. There. I'm really starting to like this Tommy DeVito story. The Italian Stallion from Jersey. I think he had like 200 people go to the game, 100 people or something like that, family and friends. How do you even know 100 people? I don't think I know 50. How are we getting? That's Italian family.
Italian.
I got my cousin Vinny, and then he's got his wife Margaret, and he's got his kid Mary, and I don't even think one of those guys was an Italian name besides Vincent. Margaret, I think, is not even close to Italian.
I don't know really what to make of this. Like I know we have a good roster. I'll say that. It's just we can't get anything done with it. But today we did, and I don't know how much further we're gonna take it. There is a slight chance we could still make a run for the playoffs. We have a pretty easy sledding ahead. We have, Green Bay Packers. We have the Saints. We have the Eagles. Definitely going to lose that one. Then we have Rams and then Eagles for their final week, which they're not going to be starting any of their starters. So I don't know. We're 2 games out of it. I really don't know what to make of it. Honestly, at this point, I want to see Tyrod Taylor. I don't really trust Tommy DeVito at any.
Well, if you're going for a playoff push, I guess, but there's no chance you guys are going to the playoffs. Let's be honest here.
I don't know, man.
I could see you beating. I keep thinking you're playing Atlanta. I could see you beating Green Bay, and I could see you beating the Saints. You're not beating the Eagles. Maybe you are onto something though. Last season, Giants played the Eagles. Last game of the season, Eagles benched their stars. Giants won the game. You are onto something here. If they could get to 7-9 by that game.
It comes down to that Rams game, and if they really win, if they win that Rams game, then we're gonna have the same situation.
An 8-9 team could make it in the NFC. It is possible right now. The Vikings are starting to falter here. The Seahawks are starting to fall apart. I mean, it's wide open right now. It really is. It really is. Rams, Cardinals, and look, the Rams kind of dominated this game. I don't really know what else to say about this. It's kind of like this was not really a fun game to watch. I mean, it was just kind of Matt Stafford had 4 touchdown passes in this game. I mean, when Matt Stafford, Sean McVay, Cooper Kupp's kind of not had a great season, but those 2 guys seem to get some wins, even when they don't have a talented team.
What's his name? Kyron
Williams is back.
Yeah, he's been phenomenal. 2 touchdowns, 100+ rushing yards. He's first game back, too. First game back.
It's funny. I thought it was like a rookie fluke with him, but the second he comes back, and last time before he got hurt, the second he came back, he's actually a really good running back.
Yes.
What round was he even drafted in? Was he? I don't even know.
I couldn't tell you.
Wow, I'm going to have to figure that out after the show, because I don't even know. Week 1 was the first time I ever heard of him. Yeah. So
then you got a loaded wide receiver core. Let's go.
Cooper Kupp's been getting very hurt. I'm a little worried about him. I haven't been fantasy in the last 4 or 5 weeks. He's been a non-factor.
No.
So
no.
But they've been getting Atwell involved in Puka and everything.
And
Higbee had 2 touchdowns.
Atwell has been.
Yeah,
he's been phenomenal.
Yes, and
third.
Well, yeah, he's the third, I guess. Yeah. Higbee had 2 touchdowns, I think.
And Higbee too. Yeah.
So. Rams 5-6. Like I said, at the tiebreaker over Seattle. Watch out for the Rams wild cards. Not over yet. Not over at all. Panthers, Titans, and Frank Reich was fired. And
is there anything to talk about in this game?
No, but Bryce Young's been running around for his life, and that's really all it comes down to. And I'm very curious who they're going to look. The Panthers. I think David Tepper, since he took over as GM 5-6 years ago, I think they've had I think they've had like 4 or 5 head coaches since then, or something like that. In 5-6 years, they've had 3 interim coaches midway through the season. They had 3 actual head coaches. He keeps firing guys. We were talking about how the Chargers never fire him in the middle of the season. This guy continues to fire people in the middle of the season. He did it last year too. So, and Frank Reich, tough draw for him. He got fired midseason last year on the Colts.
Oh my
he gets
God.
fired midseason this year on the Panthers.
Looks bad on your resume.
I think he's a good coach. I think they're just impatient. They don't have any talent on offense.
So when you draft a quarterback, it doesn't really matter what roster you have. You expect them, like even halfway through the season, to start seeing some progress. I'm not seeing any progress here.
No, they're getting worse. He's
They're getting worse.
regressing, yeah, and I'm really worried about the Panthers. But
And they lost their number 1 pick, so
it's looking really bad for them. Really
they
bad. And they lost their best receiver.
Yeah, they got to get really smart in this draft and pick up some good people.
Do they trade up? Do they take another quarterback right away? Or do they try to build something with Bryce Young?
It's way too.
Let's
quick.
figure that. Let's see the season play out. I would give him till a year.
At the same time, he is very small. You know, you're not seeing any sort of progress from him either.
We gotta remember this though. The Houston Texans, if they were trying to trade up to the first pick. If they had the first pick, they would have taken Bryce Young. So it's all hindsight's 2020, but the Texans just got lucky, you know?
They kind of did.
They took Stroud. They could have taken Levis or Richardson. They did take Stroud. They chose that. I mean, Richardson would have been a good choice too, in my opinion. But they got a little lucky here. They just took the guy that fell in.
Bryce Young was the first pick, right?
Yes.
It's really funny.
He was a Heisman winner, and he was a very good college quarterback. And if people said if he was like 6'2", he'd be the best prospect since Andrew Luck. So it's just his size. But you see in the game,
in his college, though.
Yeah.
What college was he coming from?
Alabama. The best. Oh, but okay. That's what happens when you have the best offensive line in the league, the best receivers in the conference. You know, you're gonna look good. But Stroud did too. But now you never know. It's a crapshoot. It's not a perfect science. And it's looking like he's not the guy right now. Could change, but we'll see. Browns, Broncos. Okay, we'll go quick on this one, too. DTR made some plays, got hurt. Walker came in, made some throws, but then turned the ball over. They had the super fumble where they tried to do the reverse. And Russell looked good, you know. He's had a career low in yards per attempt, 6.9, 20th in the league. So he's been a little dink and dunk, but he's been playing in the system very well. And what the Broncos do very well is they run the ball, and even when it's not working, they're persistent. They run, and then it sets up Russell Wilson with the play action, move out of the pocket. Cortland Sutton's really come on in this offense. He's looking like a legit receiver.
Yeah,
and
he is.
They're ready to trade him, and it's looking like he could be a piece moving forward. So
yeah, absolutely. Broncos have just been doing it week by week.
That was a boring game. You want to just move on from that?
No, we can. We can briefly talk about the Broncos. We were talking
6
about
and 5, hottest team in the league.
Yeah,
playoff chances. Can they do it?
You know, Russell could do it in the playoffs.
He can.
He can. So I don't know. It'd be an interesting look to see what they look like in the playoffs. They're getting a lot of momentum from these games. Imagine they went out into the playoffs. They'd be really hot.
They play the Chargers twice. I know that. They play the Chiefs again once. They already beat the Chiefs once. So they're probably gonna lose to the Chiefs. I will say they'll split with the Chargers. They could finish 10-7.
If they win out, bro, do we say like, are they gonna make the Super Bowl?
I don't know. At that point, you have to put it on the table.
It's so weird because before the
AFC's wide open.
Yeah, halfway through the season, we were like, yo, this guy,
they're
not
suck.
good. They're not making playoffs. They're not making any sort of run. Now we're talking about it.
It's funny because Sean Payton with the whole Hackett thing on the Jets. Payton looks stupid, and now Hackett looks like terrible, and Payton looks like a genius. So you showed us, Sean Payton. Took you a little while, but you've righted the ship. So good job there. Chiefs Raiders is the last game we'll get into, and this is the first time this season I saw the Chiefs trailing, and the next thing you know, they're winning by 2 touchdowns. You used to see that a lot from them.
We were talking about it last week. 3 consecutive games they haven't done anything in the second half. They looked phenomenal.
They got it going.
Yeah, they got it right going. I think they were trying to prove us wrong there.
And let me tell you, Rashee Rice is really turning into a player.
Yes, he is.
He's a very nice piece. Is he going to be a 1? I don't know, but I think he's turning
He's
into a 2.
not going to be Tyreek Hill.
No, but he's turning into a 2.
Yeah, I think that I've been thinking about it nonstop. They made a big mistake getting rid of Tyreek Hill. They needed him. They got it done. Yeah, they got it on a season without him, made the Super Bowl. But it's really showing that they need like a phenomenal receiver to get it done.
Honestly, hot take. I would have kept Tyreek Hill and got rid of Kelsey.
Yeah, for his age.
Look at Kelsey falling. I mean, Kelsey's still looking good. He's still on pace for 1,000 yards, but there's definitely been a step back. We've seen it. We've seen it now. Well, Tyreek's playing his best. Like,
yeah, exactly.
And his age, was he 34? I think 35. Kelsey's up there.
He's getting up there, exactly.
Yeah. And Tyreek Hill's playing his best
Patrick
football.
Mahomes young, so you need a young guy to go up with him.
Yeah, exactly. So it's tough, man. Those calls are tough sometimes. You gotta make tough decisions in a salary cap league. They could have made it work though, probably with both of them for a couple more years. Yeah. It's tough. It really is tough. And I think they were willing to pay him, just not the money he wanted, which was a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just make smart decisions in the draft,
And
that's all you could hope for.
That's all that really, especially with receiver.
I mean, you can get lucky with wide receivers,
You can. They're all over the place.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And they've drafted a couple wide receivers. Sky Moore hasn't really panned out.
No.
Rasheed Rice is looking like it's panning out. Tony has just been. He's more of a gadget guy. Let's face it. He's not a wide receiver. He's like a Debo, but like a poor man's Debo.
Yeah, I know, but look how Debo's playing now.
Well, Debo's great.
Exactly.
If he could get to that point one day, I think his problem is he's a little undersized. He gets hurt a lot.
Yes, that's a good point.
And sometimes he jukes his own shoes out. Well, he'll like break his own ankle. He's got some I was telling you, he has some crazy moves, man. He really does. So I went 12-4. What a week for me. Yeah. Dylan went 8-8. So I'm 110-70. He's 107-73. So I have 3 games on you now.
Took the lead.
I think it's the first lead I've had all season. So
good for you, man.
It took me a while. I was like 6-7 games back at one point. I was really falling behind you. So it's close still. Look, the key here is that we are well over 500 with our picks. So we know what we're talking about. It's hard to be perfect on every game, but we're 30 games over pretty much. Actually, I'm 40 games over. You're 30. 34 games over, so we're well over 500 with our picks. So more often than not, we're right. 67% of the time, we're right. So listen to us, or don't listen to us. Don't listen to anyone else. Okay, let's get into our Week 13 picks. And I like to start with the Thursday night football game: Seattle Seahawks at Dallas Cowboys. And look, I don't know, because Seattle. It seems like when they play these better teams, they kind of get outplayed. Yeah, they get outplayed, and Dallas is clearly the better team. I got Dallas in this game. I don't know about you, but Dallas is just the better team, and it seems like when Dallas is the better team, they blow out teams.
Yeah,
I don't think it's gonna be a blowout, but I think Dallas is gonna control this. Probably a 2-score game. Dallas is gonna control the game.
You think they're gonna blow them out?
Really?
I do. I can't see them not. Cowboys seem to know how to just pull forward in these games. Seahawks really haven't been looking that good at either. Geno hasn't been striving as we thought he would be. And, I just think he's going to get destroyed.
I can see that happening, especially with that Micah Parsons and that front seven. And that secondary is playing great with Deron Bland and Gilmore. Yeah. The Cowboys got a lot of stuff going.
He might have another pick six here, too.
That would be crazy. So we'll see. But we both got Cowboys there. Let's go Colts-Titans. Titans are home. But I think I've been against the Colts a lot this season with my picks, and they've proved me wrong a lot. And I think the Colts are just the better team here. They've proved it over the season. The Colts are a pretty good team.
They are.
Offense and defensively. They have some pieces now, especially on offense. We were saying going into the season they didn't have a lot of wide receivers. Josh Downs looks like he could be a player.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
With Michael Pittman. And now they have 2 really good running backs with Zach Moss, who's really become a great ad.
Oh, my God, man.
Great ad for them. That trade, they traded Naeem Hines to the Bills for Zach Moss. And Zach Moss has been, where's Hines been?
So would we know how good of a back he'd be if Jonathan Taylor didn't get hurt?
I don't know.
He really came on.
He probably wouldn't be getting a lot of volume, but now they split it.
But it's crazy because that's great when you have 2 running. So I don't know. Now it's becoming hard because we talked about who has the best running back duo, and they might have it.
They are. They
might have it.
That's a good take. They are up there for sure.
Who's
better? The Packers, Aaron Jones has been hurt all season.
No, well, the Lions with
That's probably number 1.
I don't know because that's very
because
they're way Montgomery is good. He gets the yards, but I don't know. Jonathan Taylor
is explosive.
He can get through the hole and just keep moving.
And Zach Moss and Jonathan Taylor are very similar backs, which makes it even better. They're both could be power backs that can break off a 60-yard touchdown. So we both got Colts here. You got Colts, right? Yeah, You were making it sound like you got Colts, so I insinuated it. Okay, Falcons, Jets. I'm just going to go Falcons here. I don't trust the Falcons. It seems like every time I pick the Falcons or I don't pick the Falcons, they do the opposite. But look, Tim Boyle is the quarterback.
You're taking the Falcons?
Yes, Tim Boyle is the quarterback, so I'm going to take Falcons here.
Yeah.
You're stuck. Yeah, I get you. Because who could trust the Falcons?
I don't know. This is hard. I think I'm going to take the Jets here.
Ooh.
I think your defense is just Your defense has been holding up team.
They have.
They definitely have.
They started to fold a little bit, but they're still a great defense.
Yes, they are. And, Tim Boyle, I'll give him one more week, bro.
Well, maybe Zach comes in and gets the win. I don't know. Maybe that's your scenario here for the Jets to win.
I don't know what my scenario is, but I'm taking the Jets.
Okay, man. No, when you're taking the Jets and I'm not, that's when you know the Jets.
See, no, that's why I'm doing it. I saw you weren't taking the Jets. Like,
you're picking me up.
He took the Giants.
There you go.
I'll take the Jets. Hopefully, I can get the win.
Tit for tat. Well, I hope that's the case. Just have the other guy take the team that you want to win, and that's our magic, baby.
That's how we do it.
So let's go Lions Saints here. Saints are home, but look, the Lions are going to bounce back. They got embarrassed on Thanksgiving, and they have to bounce back here. But the Saints, if the Saints lose, they're going to fall to 5-7. So, but I'll take the Lions.
The Saints just haven't been gelling. They, Derek Carr just hasn't been looking like that guy. And I don't know, the Lions. Yeah, you're right. They just had a bad week against Green Bay. They're gonna want to win this game and win it in fashion.
And when teams get embarrassed like that, what do I say? They always bounce back the next week. They almost always do. And the Lions are well coached.
I kind of want to see the Lions blow them out.
And the Lions are well coached. So Dan Campbell's going to have these guys fired up. So I don't trust the Saints head coach, Dennis Allen, at all. Do you even know who that guy is? No. So give me the Lions. Give me the Lions. Broncos, Texans. Better game than we probably would have thought going into the season.
Oh, for sure.
Way better game.
Sure.
This actually might have been the game I was most torn on. And I don't know. I just think the Broncos are red hot, and I think they got to come back down to earth eventually. And I think it's right here, right now in this game. Because, like I said, Russell Wilson, career low in yards per attempt. He kind of dinks and dunks a lot. And C.J. Stroud throws the ball down the field.
He airs it out.
So I think the Texans are going to jump out early here. And I think Broncos are going to be playing a little bit of catch-up. I'm not saying it's going to be a blowout, but I think the Texans are going to control the game.
I thought you would have taken Texans. Broncos. You've been really high on the Broncos.
Yeah, my first instinct was to take the Broncos. But I feel like I've been I've been a little low on the Texans. I think I gotta give Texans credit where it's due here. They're home, and give me Texans.
Listen, I don't think the Texans have ever been blown out or have been looking bad at all.
Right.
I don't think they have had a bad game yet.
No. Maybe week 1, but that was like when they were first starting the gel. Who did they even play again? I just remember them not looking great week 1. But regardless, yeah.
But the Texans, a really close game. Who'd they play again?
They played the Jaguars, and they almost won.
Yeah, against a really good defense, so I can kind of see where they went wrong there. Another team that, they're coming off a loss. I'm sure they're going to, have fire up their rear end and want to come to win this game. And Broncos...
No, that they are a good team, but that is kind of what it's been. It's been like, it hasn't been like they've been wowing you. Like, am I wrong? Like,
not really.
Like, the Bills, I guess their most impressive win was probably the Chiefs. The Bills game was impressive, too. But the Chiefs game, look, they've been better on offense than last season. That's all that matters. Mm-hmm. And the defense has been better than the Dolphin game. They had 70 points allowed against the Dolphins. They've had 80 points allowed in the last 5 games. So 16 points a game. They've really bounced back, that defense.
Yes,
but the Texans... right now, I'll take C.J. Stroud over Russ. I know Russ has bounced back this season, but Stroud's been a stud. Yeah. Let's be honest. Stroud's a stud. Yeah. So give me Texans here. Chargers at Patriots. If the Chargers do not... I say this every week, and the same thing happens. They end up choking. If the Chargers don't win this game, they suck. If Brandon Staley cannot beat Mac Jones and Devontae Parker and Hunter Henry, get them out of town. Give me Chargers here. I don't even feel confident saying that.
Just for the fact you're saying that, I want to go Patriots. I can't go. We
said this last week. We said this with the Packer game. We said it so many times. We picked the Chargers, and they embarrassed us. So
the Chargers' third stringers look better than the Patriots starters.
I know.
It's crazy, but Patriots seem to win weird games. Chargers seem to lose weird games.
Patriots did beat the Bills. Let's not forget. Patriots are home here.
Patriots beat the Bills. Giants beat the Patriots.
Giants going to the Super Bowl.
Just throw it out there.
Giants going to the Super Bowl.
No, but I'm going Chargers here. They should beat them convincingly.
Hey, Jets lost the Chargers. Patriots beat the Jets. Patriots beat the Chargers. Yeah. Hasn't the NFL worked like that? It never works like that because you got the Browns beating the Niners. Weird things happen all the time. So weird thing could happen here. It wouldn't be that weird. I would not be shocked if the Patriots won this game. Would not be shocked. But give me Chargers here. If they lose this game, then...
I think the Patriots want to lose this game too.
Yes, especially missed field goal. Don't forget about that, guys. Cardinals, Steelers, and this one actually surprisingly was tough for me too. But I feel like the Cardinals showed me last week that their team just isn't good enough. They're just not good enough. The Steelers roster is better. And even though I don't trust Kenny Pickett in that offense, they were better last week. They did move the ball better. You just got to put more points in the end zone. And the Cardinals' defense isn't that good. I mean, they've been feisty. They've been underrated. But they're missing a lot. They don't have a lot of talent in that defense. So give me Steelers here.
I'm going Steelers, too. I'm kind of surprised you said that, too, because I thought you were going with Kyler Murray.
After I saw them get blown out last week, I was like, they're just not good enough. They're not good enough, that team. They don't have enough players. So...
I mean, I don't know.
I trust Kyler more than Kenny Pickett, but like they're working with. I mean, yeah, they got Hollywood, James Conner, Ertz and stuff. They got They got some offensively. They have some pieces, but yeah, McBride's correct. McBride. It's really their defense. They got gashed by the Rams. With a hurt Cooper Kupp. Kyron Williams destroyed them. So
give me it down the throats.
Give me Steelers here. I'll take Steelers. You got Steelers too. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Dolphins, Commanders. The Commanders have really started to falter here, and the Dolphins destroyed these bad teams. So give me Dolphins.
Same. I mean, how much should we really get into that?
That's really it.
I mean, I don't know, because the Jets kind of kept it closer than it should have been. So I don't know. Commanders could do the same.
I never felt like that game was close, to be honest with you. I get what you mean. Listen, I get what you're saying.
If that pick six didn't happen, it would have been a lot closer.
Yeah, but you gotta remember that it did happen.
It did happen.
The Dolphins' defense has gotten better. We've talked about their secondary has gotten better.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, so that's all. It all plays a part into it. So, Dolphins. What else are you gonna say? I mean,
there's not much to get.
Commanders do play good against good teams, though. So
they
did get killed by the Cowboys, but both games against the Eagles they played well. But then the Giants they got destroyed twice. So they play down or up to their opponent. They're
very weird.
They are
weird.
Very weird. They're a weird team. Panthers at Bucks, and Bucks gotta win this game here if they want any chance at making the playoffs. I got Bucks here. They just have a better roster. They have a better quarterback right now, and I right now they do have a better coach because who's the Panthers coach? I mean, I'm not crazy about Todd Bowles, but he's been okay this season for that team. They've overperformed a little bit. Give me Bucks.
Going Bucks as well. I think we've gone same pick.
Yeah, have we had one different pick yet? I mean, these all have been games that are pretty obvious. I mean, this one will go either way.
No, I chose the Jets over the Falcons.
Yes. There were some go either way games. Broncos, Texans, Cardinals, Steelers to go either way. But okay, we got Bucks there. This is the go either way game, and this is the game of the week. It might be the game of the season. NFC Championship rematch. I'm surprised this isn't the Sunday Night Football game. 49ers at Eagles. Jalen Hurts versus Brock Purdy. Who do you got?
It's going to be a very interesting game. I don't know. I just feel like the 49ers have more talent around them. If they can, get a start in this game and just come out firing, I feel like they can win this game in fashion.
So go watch Wild Card Sports. I said this in Wild Card Sports. I'll say it again. I think this game's going to be close. These teams match up very well against each other. They're very evenly stacked rosters. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be close. Eagles thrive in close games. They're 7-1 in one-score games this season. Niners are 1-2. So 2 of their 3 losses have come in one-score games. And the Bengals game was close that they lost. Jalen Hurts has won 14 straight games against teams with a winning record. I think he's got like 138 passer rating when trailing in the second half or overtime. The Eagles have the most points per game in the second half this season. They are just a second half team. They're a close game team. I think this game's going to be close. And the Niners, it seems like they dominate teams, but when someone punches them back and it's close, the Vikings, the Browns, they struggle a little bit. They were missing pieces in those games, but close game, give me Eagles.
Yeah, I completely understand what you're saying. I don't know. The 49ers are just, after the, that losing streak they had, I don't know. They just looks like, they figured out what was wrong and they're just getting right back at it.
It's funny.
Purdy's looking purdy.
You love saying that, but there's been 3 kind of seasons for the Niners. The beginning of the season when they dominated, the 3-game losing streak, and then now where they dominate again. So it's kind of like they go through phases. But look, they're great.
As long as they keep it going, that's all that matters.
Whoever wins this game is the best team in the NFC. I think this game will decide that, no matter how it plays out. So cannot wait for this. Browns at Rams. Give me Rams. Rams have started to come on. I don't trust the Browns quarterback play. Rams, it seems like with Sean McVay and Stafford, seem to be able to get it done. They're home. I mean, the home field advantage isn't like that. The SoFi is not that great of a home field advantage, but the Rams have started to come on here, and I think they're making a playoff push. Give me Rams.
I'm going Browns here.
Ooh, why?
Their defense has been phenomenal. I mean, they lost last week, but I really make nothing of that. The Broncos are pretty good. The Browns, I don't know. They beat the 49ers. They're still a really good team. I don't really care who their quarterback is. They can still get it done.
Okay, so Sunday Night Football, Chiefs at Packers. I don't get why this is, even before the season, why would they put this as a Sunday night game? This might be a very this might not be that entertaining of a game because the Chiefs' offense isn't as explosive as it used to be. There could be a possibility the Packers could win this game. Now I'm thinking about it. The Packers are kind of red hot. Chiefs have been a little shaky. They did show some signs of life in the second half against the Raiders.
But it was against the Raiders, though.
Yes, but
so that's what kind of throws me off. Raiders stuck in that game for a while.
Yes, they did. But I still will take the Chiefs here. Their defense is underrated. I think they'll get some pressure on Jordan Love. And I think Jordan Love will come a little bit back down to earth this game. I don't think he'll play terribly, but he'll struggle a little bit with that pass rush. Give me Chiefs.
Yeah, they got a tough defense they're going up against. So yeah, I'm kind of curious to see how he plays against that. Yeah, I'm going Chiefs here too. How could you not? I feel like Rashee Rice is probably going to have himself another game.
Yeah,
and they should just keep on feeding him. Turn him into that number one.
Maybe. I think he could definitely be a 2. 1 still on the table, but okay, Chiefs there. So Monday Night Football, this would have been a great game if Joe Burrow didn't get hurt.
I was going to say that, yeah.
Bengals-Jaguars. I'll go Jaguars here. I mean, let's not even...
Yeah, I know there's nothing much to get into, but the Bengals do keep it competitive.
The Bengals defense keeps it close. The defense is very underrated. They got good DC, and every year they seem to kind of keep the games close, even in the playoffs. And they kept this one close against Pittsburgh, but, when you have Jake Browning as your quarterback, what are you really going to do? So, I mean, they're limited now with Jake Browning. They definitely are. Jaguars are home. I got Jaguars. So there's nothing really else I have to say about that. Yeah, so
I'm going Jaguars too. How could you not?
Okay, so our Thanksgiving parlays last week. So
let's hit him.
Yeah, so neither of us won, by the way. So let's just go into.
I came real close. It actually my the way it worked out is my first 4 legs hit. And then it came down to the last 2, Ayuk for 60 receiving yards and Brock Purdy with 250 passing yards. And I don't know, it was like a quarter in, and Ayuk still hadn't got a reception, and they were still giving me the cash out option. So I'm like, screw it, let me just do it. They didn't hit, so I took a big dub there. I know you guys didn't, but
yeah. So for me, I'll go into this right after this. For me, I lost once the first game was over the line, so I hit the -4.5. So at that point, I'm like, screw it. No, I'm done.
Literally right away. So in the Packers and Lions game, I had Amon St. Brown with 80+ receiving yards, hit. David Montgomery, 60+ rushing yards, hit. Commanders-Cowboys, I had Brandon Cook, 40+ receiving yards, hit. Jahan Dotson, 25+ receiving yards, hit. And then moving on to the 49ers and the Seahawks, I had Brandon Ayuk, 60+ receiving yards. That did not hit. Brock Purdy with 250 passing yards. That did not hit.
Ooh, so
got really close there.
Yeah, so that last game, you were waiting on that last game to see if you won or not. Yeah. For me, it was the opposite. I lost right after the first game.
I had a cash out. I just didn't see it happening.
You cashed out, though? Okay, well, that was smart. So you won some money. That's good. Okay, so Lions-Packers. Lions -4.5. I missed on that right away. That's when I knew I lost. But let's keep going on. Commanders-Cowboys. Sam Howell, 250+ passing yards. I hit on that. Dak Prescott, 2+ passing touchdowns. I hit on that. So the Commanders-Cowboys, I hit on both of those. 49ers-Seahawks. Niners -3.5. I hit on that. Kittle, 40+ receiving yards. I missed. And Lockett, 40+ receiving yards. I missed. I hit 3. I missed 3. Wasn't great for us, but let's get into our Thursday Night Football parlay. Seahawks, Cowboys. Great game. It should be a great game. You think it's gonna be a blowout? I think it's gonna be controlled by Dallas too. So I hammered Cowboys home a lot here. I got Cowboys -5.5. Like I said, I think Cowboys are gonna win the game. I think they win it convincingly. Maybe not a blowout, but I think convincingly. Dak Prescott, 2+ passing touchdowns. He's been on a tear. Brandon Cooks has been getting going. I think CD's gonna get going in this game too. I think he's going to spread the love around. He's going to be slicing and dicing in this game for sure. Brandon Cooks, 40+ receiving yards. I think 4 of the last 5 games he's had over 40 receiving yards. He's really come on. Like I said, he had a nice touchdown last week. So Brandon Cooks is really coming on. It's a strong number 2 wide receiver in this system. And then, like I said, CeeDee Lamb, anytime touchdown score. I think he's going to get his this week. I think he scored a touchdown at least in the last 3 games. I think it's the last 4 games he's had a touchdown. So I think he's going to keep that trend going. So CeeDee Lamb, anytime touchdown score, and that's my parlay. What do you got?
Nice. For mine, I have Brandon Cooks, 3+ receptions. I mean, like you were saying, he's kind of been going off. They've slowly been getting him the ball more. So I think it's going to stay like that. The next one I have Michael Gallup, 25+ receiving yards. And just like I was saying before, I feel like recently in the beginning of the season, he kind of was favoring CD Lamb more, but now he's starting to, hit more of his other targets and not become so predictable. And that I really like that about him, how he's not just, sticking to the one receiver, because it's not going to last, So, kudos to you guys. Then I have Cowboys over 27.5 total points. And like I was saying before, 7 out of the 11 last games, the Cowboys had over 28 points. So.
Oh, that's an interesting one. That's different. We usually don't do points for one team. So that's an interesting one.
Yeah. So I didn't want to do the total points because,
I always lose with that.
Yeah, exactly. And Seahawks could, score 3 points.
Or 30, so you never know.
Yes, exactly. So, the Cowboys over 27.5 points. Then I have Geno Smith under 1.5 passing touchdowns. I don't know. He just doesn't. He doesn't get that many. He hasn't had a 3+ passing touchdown game. I think he had only 2 or 3 two passing touchdown games. So I think the Cowboys are going to hold them, and I think it's going to stay like that.
I think that's my favorite one. Geno Smith under 1.5 passing touchdowns, because the Dallas secondary has really, really been ferocious. Mm-hmm. So I like that one a lot. Yeah. So repeating, I have Cowboys -5.5, Dak Prescott 2+ passing touchdowns, Brandon Cooks 40+ receiving yards, and CD Lamb anytime touchdown score.
I have Brandon Cooks 3+ receptions, Michael Gallup's 25+ receiving yards, Cowboys over 27.5 total points, and Geno Smith under 1.5 touchdowns.
And that is our Thursday Night Football parlay. All right, Dylan, so Week 13 coming out. Oh, by the way, guys, shout out to Wildcard Sports. Go watch our new live episode. Well, now it's not live anymore, but we had a live stream at Wildcard Sports where we broke down the games of last week, some predictions going into next week. So Wildcard Sports on YouTube. Guy's named Steven, great guy. We always enjoy chatting it up with him. He's from the Bay Area, San Francisco. Wildcard Sports, go watch that. Like, subscribe, share. Dylan's going to get his betting videos going up again. I might have a reaction video over the weekend. So that's really it. Thanks, Dylan. Man. Week 13. Niners, Eagles. See you next week.